right, more on the big speech tonight and politics around it. Joining us is Mollie Hemingway, the Federalist editor-in-chief and Fox News contributor, and Byron York, Washington Examiner chief political correspondent and also Fox News contributor. Thanks to both of you for coming on. I appreciate it. You know, Byron, I'm going back to your column. Trump's job is to stay focused on the economy, and I think that's where he ought to be on the speech tonight. What are you thinking?
I think the same thing. I think that's what he is going to do. I think the reason he's giving this speech is the same reason that he is starting to do some rallies around the country. He's going to do one in North Carolina on Friday, I believe. And also, it's the end of the year. It's time to take stock of what has been accomplished since he took office in January. But clearly, the important thing for him is to, one, say the progress that he has made economically, and two, tell Americans the progress, the things that are going to happen in the next few months as Trump policies come into effect. Don't say everything's perfect right now. It's the greatest ever right now, but say what's going to be happening to improve their economic situation in coming months.
Yeah, you know, Mollie, I'd like him to look forward. I agree with Byron. Look forward more than backward. I mean, he's had some great achievements, and he's got to mention that. But I'd like him to look forward. I'd like him to say this is going to be a fabulous economy this coming year. You know, Scott Bessent's out there saying there's going to be $150 billion in additional tax savings going to go to middle-class people. I mean, I think the economy, and we've got oil prices are crashing. I think Trump's got to just be a big economic optimist.
Well, when Trump came into office, he kind of hit the ground running, and everybody was firing on all cylinders. You had a lot of progress being made on all sorts of things, from the border to the economy, unleashing energy, many foreign policy successes. And then it seemed like things kind of got bogged down. So having a little bit of a reset, articulating what has gone well, talking about what's going to go well in the future. And as you and Byron note, what most people are concerned about are things that affect them in their home. How are they and their family doing? So talking about what this administration is doing and will be doing to help keep prices from being as high as they were, or inflation being as bad as it was during the Biden era, what's being done to keep energy prices down, what's being done to keep wage growth going. I think all of that will be important if that's what he's going to be talking about tonight.
I think that's where he's going to go, Byron. I would like him to stay on that message rather than to focus on Joe Biden or Democrats or the Democratic nitpicking. I kind of like him to just go straight. You know, we're the hottest country in the world, and we got this, and wages are going up. I just would like him to stay away from Joe Biden and the Democrats. What you think?
Well, he is going to mention that inflation hit 9.1% in Joe Biden's presidency. There's absolutely no doubt that he's going to talk about the inflation of the previous administration, the fact that the inflation has gone down, but prices still go up when inflation still exists. So he's definitely going to blame the administration before him. And to tell you the truth, I think he deserves to do that. It hasn't been a year yet. Usually after a year, that's my cutoff for blaming the previous guy. But he's going to talk about that. But I agree with you that the rest of his message needs to be forward oriented and say, you know, by the middle of next year, we're going to be here, here, and here.
Oh, I like that. If I got a sign off of Byron York, that is a heck of a show for me, really, right there and there. Mollie, can I change subject a little bit? Brooke Sigmund, Fox Digital News. FBI doubted probable cause for Mar-a-Lago raid, but pushed forward amid pressure from the Biden Justice Department, emails reveal. This is a kind of bad story. The FBI didn't want to do it. They were forced to do it by Biden and the Justice Department. I don't want them in the speech on this, but this is a bad story.
Yeah, these are pretty explosive documents that were released by Chuck Grassley this week, showing how there were people within the FBI trying to get some of the political leadership of the FBI to stop being so monomaniacal about raiding Mar-a-Lago. Now, raiding Mar-a-Lago turned out to be a catastrophic political mistake for Biden. But what we see in these emails is that they were pushing for it no matter what. And they eventually get it, and they do their raid in August. so many normal Americans, not media types, not DC or New York types, but normal Americans were horrified by Biden raiding Mar-a-Lago's home. So it turned out to be a mistake. There were other documents released this week that are part of this, though, showing how both the Obama administration and the Biden administration did everything in their power to stop any investigations into Democrats, such as the Clinton Foundation. And so what we keep seeing with our politicized FBI and DOJ, they're willing to do anything to go after Republicans, but they're also willing to do anything to protect Democrat allies. That's a big ongoing story, and the rot has not been cleaned out sufficiently if we want to have a functioning Department of Justice and FBI going forward.
I agree 1,000%. The weaponization is just awful. It's not for the speech tonight, but it's got to be investigated further. Mollie Hemingway, you're exactly right. Thank you. Byron York, thanks to both of you for coming on. I appreciate it.